Hello, welcome into the CHGO White Sox podcast presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Welcome into Studio A here in our CHGO studios. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me is the normal panel, our A-team. We got Vinnie Duber on the far left. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. The man in the middle, Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We are being produced today by our guy, Stephen Nicholas. And I think that's Kevin from WGN formerly, right?
It is Kevin.
Yeah, I know Kevin from following me on Twitter. What's up, Kevin? How you doing, man? I just had that I didn't even say hi to him, didn't meet him, but now I'm realizing just as he's producing our show.
You were big timing him earlier. That's not very nice.
I know Kevin. What's up, Kevin? Good to see you, man. How you doing? Follow Kevin. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's Kevin Wells, right? My guy. There we go. So I already knew him. That's why I didn't need to make the introduction.
There you go.
First and last name. It took you a whole week to get mine down.
That's true. That is absolutely true, Scott.
Call me Scott again.
Well, we like to chant things on the CHGO Bets account, on the CHGO Bets show, so chanting Scott's a lot easier than chanting Steven. Like Scott, Steven, Scott.
Not sure how much easier it is, but it's
one syllable.
You know.
On today's show for the CHGO White Sox podcast, we will be talking about the White Sox offseason. A lot of fans feel like it's been subpar. We'll have the discussion if it has been. The White Sox made a trade for a right fielder. It's not anybody you know, but we'll try to inform you on who Adam Haseley, we'll find out, is. And we'll talk about Tony La Russa's comments on the right field debate. And obviously, I guess they've addressed that already. We'll get into our icebreaker now. Tony La Russa had some comments yesterday about the White Sox adding to their right field depth. And, Steven, if we could pull up the quote, because it got people a little bit upset. Daryl Van Schouwen tweeted out after a pool report from Tony La Russa, after a pool meeting from Tony La Russa. He said, fans who want White Sox to go outside of organization to find another right fielder are probably not White Sox fans, Tony La Russa said. White Sox fans know we have guys in this camp who can handle it. That phrase, are probably not White Sox fans, infuriated some fans. You and I, Vinny, didn't think much of it when we first heard it. I don't think your opinions changed, but what do you hear when you hear fans, they aren't White Sox fans, when thinking about needing a right field upgrade?
So, I mean, listen, I have the benefit of having experience of talking to Tony on a very regular basis, a daily basis, for 6 months out of the year, and this is very much in line with a lot of the stuff that he says when he's talking about, when we'll ask him a question like, oh, well, fans want this, fans like this. It's basically him saying, if you've been paying attention, if you've been watching closely, you know what our right field situation is. And then it's where we get into the difference of opinion, because there is a large number of fans who do know what the right field situation is and aren't happy with it. Tony obviously is happy with it, and he is kind of basically just saying there, listen, if you've been paying attention like I have, you've got a reason to be excited about these guys. Why would you want to go outside the organization when we've got Vaughn and Sheets and Leury and Engel? These guys are great because they're my players, and of course I'm going to say amazing things about them. So, that's all it is. It's nothing bad. Listen, I understand when you see that on a 280-character tweet that you're going to fly off the handle. That's well within people's rights. But, don't worry. Tony's not trying to insult you. He's a friendly fellow.
Herb, did you find that to be friendly?
I mean, I said it yesterday. I was like, this is him instilling confidence in the people who are in camp. But I see the quote, and I can see why White Sox fans took that quote with the culmination of what they've done this offseason, which we'll talk about a little later, and saying, what the is going on with the White Sox? Are they trying to alienate me as a fan? Don't sign any real big-name players. And now the manager is talking about us, the fans. People take it personally, especially when you put fan in there, when you specifically call out the fan. I think that quote could have been better stated, like, hey, guys, we have all the help we need right there in the clubhouse. That's all he had to say.
Right.
The fan part, I could see why people can get out of shape with the culmination of whatever's been happening in the offseason.
If he worded it differently and said, the 28 guys that I have are my 28 guys, and I'm happy with that, we've never have seen that quote. It's just because he used that quote or that line about the fans, which is, I mean, for Tony to say that, I don't know if it means much, because again, it's the way that he speaks. So like for fans getting upset, I don't know if Tony La Russa cares if he upsets you, to be honest.
Well, and also too, don't be surprised, too, if this is the first Tony La Russa is hearing of people being upset with the White Sox right field situation.
He's on Twitter. He congratulated
he is on Twitter
mostly
mostly to talk about his charity. But, I don't think he follows a lot of you guys. No offense. I don't think he follows me either, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Right. I think it would be more concerning if the manager of the White Sox went out and said, yeah, we're really thin in right field. Like,
right.
we could need some help out there.
Exactly.
That would cause more issues because then I think we could connect I don't know if Rick Hahn wanted him to be the manager after the 2020 season. And going into it, it felt like, this was more of Jerry's pick. So then if he was coming out and being like, yeah, I don't know if Rick Hahn's doing the right job. All he said was, these guys that we have are the guys that we have. Now, it is after an Andrew Vaughn injury, too, which I think that's why he's being asked the question.
Well, here's what I'll say, and this is a preview of the rest of the podcast because I'm going to be saying this a lot. Just like I said yesterday, the Andrew Vaughn injury was not viewed for what it was, but through the lens of everybody wants him to go sign Michael Conforto. The trade today for Adam Haseley, as we're going to very slowly have to say his name every time.
I think we can make the rule, too. Guardians Jar also now includes Adam Haseley.
Oh, that's dangerous.
I'm just going to be throwing money in.
Yeah.
That's your fault.
I'm going to call him
Get better.
Halsey all the time.
Herb's bank account's about to be bone dry. That trade, viewed through the lens of everybody wants them to sign Michael Conforto. Tony's comments viewed through the lens of everybody wants him to sign Michael Conforto. And I'm not sure that any of those three things have anything to do with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. We can make those connections, obviously. But listen, Andrew Vaughn getting hurt and talking about him out in right field, it means something for Andrew Vaughn in right field. Doesn't mean anything for them going to get Conforto. Tony complimenting his guys doesn't mean anything for whether they are or aren't going to sign Michael Conforto. And this trade for Haseley doesn't have anything to do with them signing Michael Conforto. It covers other bases. So obviously people are reacting through that lens. And listen, that's all right. Do whatever you want to do. Just realize that some of these other things are existing and they have nothing to do with this.
Right. Herb, I'm reminiscent of when he was preaching up Jonathan Lucroy last year to be the backup catcher for the White Sox, talking about how good Lucroy looked, how healthy he looked. The last thing Tony wants to do as well, being a former player, is put down players who have a chance to possibly make an MLB team, whether it be for the White Sox or whether it be for a different team that, he's been a part of the organizations before, the Angels, Red Sox in the front office. Like, he understands that teams might be looking at these guys, and something that would be horrible for your job is if your manager is like, these guys stink. So again, it's coach speak that I think we're really just not used to from Tony, just because he hasn't been here for a long time outside of last year.
And he's using the media to filter down the message to the players. Hey, I got faith in you guys. He probably tells them in the clubhouse privately, but it's also in public now. It's like, hey, I am a Hall of Fame guy. I know good talent when I see it, and we have good talent there in right field. We have more than enough to cover right field.
Also, Vinny, this is a question to you. Working with Tony and having to ask him questions, he does like to be specific about questions. Do you think that this question possibly, and I don't know what the question was, but do you think that this is just a response that you'd get if you asked Tony maybe a question that he really can't go in depth into?
Absolutely. It sounds to me like he was responding, and I don't know if it was Daryl's tweet or Merck's tweet, but one of them included this information. He was asked about fans wanting more help in right field, fans wanting a new right fielder. I don't think if the question was just, Tony, do you think that you guys need more help in right field? Do you guys think you need to go outside the organization to get a right fielder? He's not bringing up the fans. Why would he just bring up the fans randomly? It was a question about, to my recollection of what those guys tweeted, fans asking for that being necessary. There you are.
Well, and Daryl didn't include it. I mean, kind of did. Yeah, fans want to go. But Merkin did go a little bit more in depth. La Russa was asked this morning, media session, on fans wanting the organization to go out and add someone else for right field. Does he view it as a necessity? Those are probably the fans who are not White Sox fans. So, again, a little harsh language there.
I think it has to. I don't think it's like you better like this collection of folks we have, or you're not a true White Sox fan. I think the idea is it's in line with some of the stuff you said before, where if you are a White Sox fan and paying as close attention as a White Sox fan does, then you would know, kind of thing. But again, we are spending a lot of time on just on cutting apart his sentence or two there.
But, well, it's funny, too, because he makes this idea of, we're not going to go outside of the organization. And today, they go outside of the organization and make a trade. McKinley Moore for the White Sox, their 27th prospect in the minor leagues, has been traded for Adam Haseley of the Philadelphia Phillies, an outfielder, former first-round pick of the 2017 first-round draft. looking at this pickup, Herb, where did your mind go first? What was your thoughts? Adam Haseley, does it do anything for you? What's your thoughts?
Firstly, MLB insider Ken Rosenthal tweets it out and spells his name wrong. And so I'm searching for Adam Haseley with a H-I-A or H-A-I instead of how he spells his name for 5 minutes. And no, Google didn't even help me. Like, who the fuck is this? But now that it's settled a little bit, I feel can't hurt, might help. The guy was a former first-round pick. Had minimal success in the minors and terrible success. Well, 2019 wasn't bad at all. It's fine. It's Nick Williams again, but I hope better results. This guy has multiple options, so he can go back down to AAA if the White Sox don't see him as a Major League Baseball player. It's fine. I'm not going to go hog wild over Adam Haseley signing or acquisition. Great, fine. It doesn't matter. I know why people got mad because they saw Adam Haseley as the replacement for Michael Conforto. It's not it. If Adam Haseley plays a lot, that means he's probably good. Good.
Right.
F it. It might hurt. I mean, it might help. Let's I'll give Rick the benefit of the doubt. He didn't trade anything big. It's just a minor trade that in this whole White Sox offseason is magnified because of what the White Sox fans really want. I think on its surface, it's fine.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This is you brought up a name, I'll bring up two. Best case scenario, this is Brian Goodwin. Worst case scenario, it's Nick Williams. And that's all it is. It's hey, remember last year when 2 of the 3 outfielders were knocked out for months at a time? Boy, sure needed some fill-ins, and that's what this is. It's another one of those. We saw an awful lot of Brian Goodwin last year, an awful lot of Billy Hamilton. This year, the hope is that we will see an awful lot of Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, and that mix of right fielders. Hey, it's very possible that Adam Haseley never sees the major leagues.
And also seeing it unfold, too. Like Ken Rosenthal tweeted out first that the White Sox acquired Haseley, and then fans start running like, oh, who did we give up? I saw Kimbrel's name be thrown out there.
That wasn't happening.
No, it didn't happen. It ends up being a very, very minor move, and it only, again, if he ends up playing, it's either a good thing because he ends up having some production that the White Sox have unlocked, or it's a bad thing because injuries have happened.
Right.
So, I mean, that's really the one thing. It's a depth move. So if you are getting your britches in a bunch here about Adam Haseley, Haseley. There we go. There's one right there.
That's one.
Adam Haseley. Sorry to
$3
Adam
for you
Haseley.
now.
It's a guy that is a quad A player. All of his grades from 2019 have him rated around 45 to 50 for his power, his hit, his fielding, his arm. He is an average player. He is not going to come in here and take a spot from Adam Engel.
Of course, it's on 20/80 scale.
Yeah, 20/80 scale.
Okay.
This is from Fangraphs.
That's just confusing.
It is.
That is intentionally confusing. I never understood why that's the case. Just go 0 to 100.
Right.
Or
makes no
1 through
sense.
10.
Yeah.
Come on.
He's good. He's a 4. He's a 4 at power. That would make more sense than a 50. But yeah, I mean, he is an average player. I don't think that you're going to see some crazy production out of him. I don't think that you're going to see a lot of games from him. He's not a guy that has any discerning skill. He is just a baseball player. He doesn't seem to be an over-athletic guy. He just seems to be a guy that has played baseball his entire career.
He's 25,
and is fairly
right?
good at it. 26, I think now. He's going to be 26 on April 12th. Happy birthday to Adam Haseley.
Yeah, I just think it's a nice step move. Good on you, Rick Hahn. It was a good move as far as the rest of the offseason, which we'll talk about a little later. It's not really the move that White Sox fans were looking for, and they thought that was Rick Hahn's like, oh, here we go, splashing from Adam Haseley. No, calm down. There's no bigger Rick Hahn critic than me. Come on now. Than Rick Hahn, probably. I would give Rick Hahn some troubles if I thought this was the right fielder that they're getting. I'm not even going to sweat it. Later on, maybe in the show, I'll maybe talk about Rick Hahn a little bit, just so skosh. I'll keep it friendly, keep it cordial. Come on now.
Sean, you and I talked at length about Adam Haseley before the show
You
started.
like him.
I do like him. He's a former top 100 prospect guy. For trading our 27th prospect in the system, I think it's worth a flyer. I don't think it's going to be a big impact, but why not give it a shot, see what he's got? He'll probably be a 5th or 6th outfielder. It's low risk, moderate reward at best for me.
Right.
Right now, he's the 5th or 6th right fielder, not just outfielder. But yeah, I mean, I think you go ahead and write out that right field depth chart. I think he's probably no higher than 6 at the moment. Right?
Yeah, but at that point too, it's like you look at the depth chart. You don't really need to go too deep after Jimenez and Robert.
In those two positions, there's one. There's one spot on those depth charts. Nothing after it.
So that's really the thing is I think White Sox fans see right field and they see 6 names possibly being fit in there. Adolfo, Haseley now, Engel, Vaughn, Sheets. Like it's pretty left field and center field's taken care of.
Yes, and I think that as future Sox contributor James Fox pointed out, the same thing could be happening for Michael Adolfo. Change of scenery, where Michael Adolfo actually gets at bats in the major leagues this year.
Right.
And this is kind of the same thing for Adam Haseley. New organization, maybe they saw something in his swings like, Phillies are not doing him right. Let's go ahead, get him in the lab, get him with our guys, and see what we can do with him.
If anything, swing-wise, he kind of looks like Conforto. Similar build, 6'1", not super big, like powerful, kind of a thinner frame. Very short, compact swing like Conforto, a little bit open. Just has never had the power that Conforto has. And again, like nothing really sticks out. He's a fine bat. He can play the outfield. He's made some nice diving plays. Like I'll say that, watching his defensive plays made in 2019, like he can dive very cleanly. We won't have some Andrew Vaughn issues here. Like he's a natural in left and
I don't
right.
know if you put it with Steven, but you had a great tweet about Adam Haseley.
Oh, yeah.
And current White Sox great pitcher Vince Velasquez.
Yes. So I was watching those highlights, and one of them was a diving play in left field, and it was in the 12th inning of a White Sox-Phillies game. And I'm like,
the legendary.
What other game in 2019 went to the 12th inning? And I looked up. Haseley moves to center field in the 14th inning. Vince Velasquez goes out to left field. So the White Sox are now just acquiring the Phillies outfield from August 12th,
right,
2019.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper, you're next.
No one's throwing Jose Abreu out at home plate anymore.
Unless it's a White Sox.
Right.
So final thought that I wanted to bring up, Haseley and Adolfo, you brought him up. We're going to see the rosters expand to 28, and we were trying to fill out the 28-man roster. This does feel like it's possible that Adolfo has hit himself onto the opening day roster for possibly the first 3 games of the season while Anderson is still suspended for that. Is that a fair assumption to make that Adolfo can make the
It's fair to say that it's possible. You know what I mean? We'll see how it shakes out. Who knows, what they think that they need a little bit more. Right now, Adolfo's doing well. They got another week of spring games. We'll see what the results are after that. I think that you've got Tim suspended for those first 3 games. There's a silver lining in that you can put one other guy on the major league roster, but and who knows? Maybe they think enough of Adolfo that they would want him around past that opening weekend, certainly too. So we just got to see how it plays out. Certainly he deserves to be in the mix, whereas before the spring started, I would have probably told you this is the end of Michael Adolfo in a White Sox uniform. Now maybe it's not the end, and we'll see a little bit more. But again, unless he has a Yermin Mercedes-esque start from the production standpoint, I'm not sure how many at bats there are to go around when you've got guys like Vaughn and Sheets who are held in such high esteem by this team.
Thoughts on Adolfo?
I mean, the same thing. Like we don't know when Andrew Vaughn's coming back. It said 1 to 2 weeks. Maybe he misses those first 3 games in Detroit and just waits until they have a home opener the 12th. So you get those extended periods of time where you can have Michael Adolfo get a couple of bats there up in Detroit. And like he says, if he's the power guy that he's profiled to be, maybe he runs into a couple, has a weekend like Chris Shelton, if we're talking about Tigers, and then trade him immediately.
I don't remember the Chris Shelton game.
Chris Shelton hit like 20 home runs before the All-Star break with the Tigers and then fell off the map.
He hit, I think 13 of them in April.
Yeah.
And, it's like the greatest April in baseball history, and then you never heard a peep from him after that. Yeah.
He's on a milk carton now.
Yeah.
Let's see. In April in 2005, he hit 4 home runs. All right, it had to be a different year.
Yeah.
Crazy. Shout out to Chris Shelton.
Yeah, is it Micah Hoffpower or Brian LaHare?
Brian LaHare was on the All-Star team in 2012 and then was out of Major League Baseball by the end of that season, I believe.
Chris Shelton, 10 home runs in April of 2006.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he made the All-Star team that year, I believe. Is that correct?
No, he didn't make the All-Star
I thought
team.
he made the All-Star team.
He was done by the end of April.
Okay.
It was all downhill from there.
Well, then trade him immediately. If Michael Adolfo does the same as Chris Shelton, trade him after his 5th home run.
And that Tigers team made the World Series that season, did they not?
The 2006?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And who did they beat?
To get to the World Series?
No, who they beat in the World Series?
They
they
lost
didn't
the
win.
World Series.
Oh, they lost
to,
in the World
to
Series.
Tony.
To Tony La
Right,
Russa.
yeah.
I was just trying to connect Tony La Russa back to the story.
Yeah, that's why the White Sox have 2 World Series. That's 2005 to 2007. That's their White Sox World Series era because you got to win at least 90 games to win a World Series. In my book, 83 is not enough. Tony La Russa.
I was going to say, you bring that up to Tony, see if he'll hand you over that ring.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, Herb, you're right. Right off the finger. Here you go.
The best way to get Tony La Russa's World Series ring off his finger is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. That was a stretch.
Yeah,
if you do that right now, you'll get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But that's not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free T-shirt from the CHGO locker, all for making a more than $50 first-time deposit at PointsBet. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we will help you out. I have to let you know about my favorite feature of the PointsBet app. You can boost your odds. Herb hit a big moneyline parlay, and he wasn't using PointsBet. If he was using PointsBet, he could have boosted his odds and made more money. So, I'm not going to blame Herb. I'm just saying you can make more money. You can use the best sports book right now, PointsBet. Use the code CHGO. Get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Use the code CHGO. Put in a first-time deposit of $50 or more. You can possibly boost your odds and win more money on that first-time play that you make. An online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. Plus, during PointsBet's Match Madness, all users can earn up to $100 in free bets. During each round, just place a $50 pregame wager and get a free $20 live bet to be used for that round. So what are you waiting for once the game starts? Don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
I do use PointsBet, by the way.
I know you do.
I won on a different one.
Yeah,
I'm not putting my losers up there.
No, you're not putting up your losers, and unfortunately your losses have come on PointsBet. But that's not PointsBet's fault. That's user error right there.
Gambling.
Oh, same here. I'm horrible at gambling.
I mean, you're the host of the show, though.
I'm the host of a gambling show that doesn't win money. Our next partner has a product I literally use every day. I started taking AG1s because I just got this first full-time job. It's been about 25 days of me taking AG1. It helps me get up and start my day right. Helps me get on a schedule. Helps my body start feeling the right way it should immediately in the morning. And my favorite part about Athletic Greens is it doesn't taste super healthy. It has a mild tropical taste that I look forward to each and every morning. You might be asking, what is this stuff? 1 delicious scoop of AG1s, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. My favorite part, too, it's lifestyle friendly. Whether you eat keto, whether you eat paleo, whether you eat vegan, whether you eat dairy-free or gluten-free. My girlfriend likes to avoid dairy. No problem. It's easy. It's lifestyle friendly. If you have a different lifestyle, if you're trying to incorporate a healthy way to take in vitamins, minerals, your healthy, necessary greens, Athletic Greens is the supplement for you. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews, and right now it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO socks. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/CHGO socks to take ownership over your health and pick the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. And Herb, I know you took the the travel packs with you.
I did.
Nice and easy to stay on track, right?
And I've been, experimenting which one I like the most. Like, it says 8 to 12 ounces. I like it probably at the 10-ounce mark because it's all the granules dissolve. It tastes better. A little watery at 12 for me, but some other people might want that. And like you said, it's a mild tropical taste. I like the little granules coming down. You only get a little at the end because if you shake it up enough, it dissolves in the water. It's delicious.
I've seen some people too, like the metal blender that people have to mix in protein shakes.
Oh, yeah.
Like that helps too.
Oh man, it'll be like getting all the stuff right there. All the vitamins, because I don't like eating vegetables necessarily.
Good boy.
So, AG1. All
AG1.
good one.
athleticgreens.com/CHGO socks is where you go for that. Let's move into our next topic. And Herb, you mentioned being nice to Tony La Russa, or I'm sorry, to Rick Hahn. We're going to jump into, has the Sox offseason been subpar? I want to start with you since you obviously have thoughts. We talked to Chirizi, who brought this up, and he mentioned Rick Hahn not being able to read the market. I don't know if that plays into it, but that was the last time we kind of had this discussion. What are your thoughts after seeing this offseason unfold? Has it been subpar for the White Sox?
It's not over yet, so let me put that out there. But I'm a more process over results guy. So the White Sox, as currently constituted, will win the AL Central, and they'll look damn good winning it, too. You'll see Robert, Eloy, Jimenez, Abreu, Tim, all of them do well this year. The pitching staff is going to be spectacular, at least the first three starting pitchers. And, of course, the relievers are great. But the process of them in their championship window of this offseason is flawed to me. We expect the White Sox to compete for multiple championships, and that's Rick Hahn's words, like multiple championships. And maybe he thought multiple championships was just being in the tournament. And if that's what he thought, cool. He's going to put us in the tournament for the third time in a row this year. But as a White Sox fan, I felt like this year, this offseason was the time to strike. A lot of good available free agents out there. Two glaring weaknesses for the White Sox, right field and second base. Mm-hmm. I don't think the White Sox properly have addressed those two areas. Like I said many times, the right field situation as a platoon will be fine. I'm not too sold on second base yet. So we have an A student. This is the metaphor I'm going to use. We have an A student who's getting B's or C's. You're proud of your student. You're proud. But you know that student has more to give, much more. And so you hold them to the standard where you think they should be, at an A. The White Sox right now this season, this offseason, at most I'll give them a C-. Probably if I was just to be mad, will be a D. They really didn't address anything that they had, a glaring weakness from last year. And with the Keuchel/Rodon thing, I think they lost a little bit on their starting rotation. So those are still question marks. I don't like the offseason as it's currently constituted. Rick has plenty of time to do some other stuff. If he wants to go out and trade for Montas or Manaea, awesome. That would make the offseason a little bit better.
You mentioned the rotation getting worse. MLB.com just put out a ranking of the rotations, had him fourth. You'd think if Rodon was in that rotation, it'd probably be one, but still a top five rotation. And you mentioned time there as well. Vinny, I know that's the biggest thing that you wanted to bring up is that the offseason still isn't over yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't know if that's the biggest thing I'd bring up, but it is true, right? I mean, the offseason is, there's a few days left until opening day. I don't know if there's anything that's going to happen in those few days, but we owe it to Rick Hahn to follow his request to never judge an offseason until it's over, until all the work is put together. I think it comes down to this. How much are you going to weigh the offseason? The grade that you give out, Herb, comes at the end of October.
Okay.
What's the grade for the 2022 White Sox? We won't know until November. And if they win the World Series, what is it? Then the offseason was just fine because that's what they needed to do in order to win the World Series. What I'll say about the offseason is I think that it cannot be viewed as everybody starting at zero. You know, there have been some gigantic moves made this offseason, like there is every offseason, by some teams that have really gone out and made themselves better. You know what I mean? The Dodgers going to get Freddie Freeman. Oh man, you know the Rockies going to get Chris Bryant. The Blue Jays going and doing with Matt Chapman and all the other moves that they've made. What the Mariners have done, good for them. But all these teams are starting at different points. You can't say that. You know, I mean, you can go out and say, boy, the Colorado Rockies because they got Chris Bryant had a better offseason than the White Sox. You can say that, but the Colorado Rockies aren't going to win the World Series. Right. The White Sox might win the World Series. And so I think you can look at Rick Hahn and that front office as having the opinion that they were starting off at a very, very good spot. And he said as much in November that he liked where they were at. They were going in the right direction. It doesn't mean that they needed to stand pat, that they didn't need to do anything and they were going to coast to a championship. He said they had work to do, needs to address, ways that they needed to improve, and we're going to talk about whether they did those kind of things. But I think that you got to look at this being the work of many years, not just many months in one little bit here, because I think for them to have Luis Robert where he is right now, for them to have Eloy Jimenez where he is right now, Tim Anderson, Jose Abreu, Yasmani Grandal, you can go all over that roster. I didn't even mention a pitcher, but and you can say that was the work of building the 2022 White Sox way more than any one signing that he would have made over the last bit. If you're a fan, you want to see your team go into the offseason and sign the biggest free agent, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what you should do because that's fun. And when your team doesn't do that, you can understand the frustration. But because your team doesn't sign a big free agent does not suddenly bar them from being able to accomplish the things that you want them to accomplish.
Well, and I absolutely hear your point about starting from zero because, yes, like the Rockies have had a better offseason because they add Chris Bryant, but still, I'm taking the White Sox to win the World Series over the Rockies. Like, absolutely. But I do have a little bit of an issue just because you see that they're not starting from zero. You see in 2020 the holes that this team has. You see in 2021 the holes that they have. I feel like they still haven't addressed those holes.
And that's fair. So I wouldn't never necessarily even disagree with that to an extent, but I think that you can't base your entire outlook on a team based on whether they didn't go out and get one guy.
Right.
And especially when your team is in such a good spot to begin with. Yeah.
And even because they don't start from zero and all the divisions aren't the same, like I do think this team can see a win increase. I think they can, like, even though their rotation is worse, I think this team can win 95 games. They won 93 last year. I think that with the health of Robert and Eloy that they can get up past the mark that they had last year of 93 wins. So absolutely, you know, it's about the process, and maybe Rick Hahn's comments from November 5th will help us understand the process a little bit better. But there is stuff from even 2019 that I want to get into. This is Rick from November 5th, right after the season. This is his first media meet after the season's ended. He said, "Our division is going to continue to prove, but we like where we sit in terms on November 5th, being in a position to defend the Central Crown and get another shot. Again, there's areas we are going to need to get better. We're going to address them, hopefully over the course of the next several months, and have the coaches address them over the course of the spring and into the summer." I saw ESPN.com and MLB.com both did their 2 early rankings, and I think in both, based on our current projected WAR and basically the projected roster in one of them, we were second in the American League as we sit here today. That's great on November 4th. It gives you reason for optimism going forward, but it doesn't change the fact that we have work to do, and those chasing us are getting better and stronger. We have to maintain pace. Now, Vinny, you brought up a question to me earlier about where do the White Sox stand in the AL. He's saying, Rick Hahn, on November 5th, they stood at second, according to ESPN and MLB.com. I said MLB.com had their rotation ranked as the 4th best in the MLB. ESPN just put out an article grading their offseason as a C-. I think that the White Sox have gotten worse in comparison to the American League. Would you agree with that? From Rick's quote about them being at second, do you think that now from November 5th to where we stand on March 29th that they aren't the second best team in the AL, or do you think that they still are?
I think things have changed. You know what I mean? I think back in November, I probably would have said the best team in the American League was the Houston Astros. The Houston Astros have gotten worse since then. They've lost Carlos Correa. I would say that right now, if I had to make a pick right this second, I'd say maybe the best team in the American League on paper is the Toronto Blue Jays. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they were back on November 5th. So I think things have moved around. I could see the White Sox being the second best team in paper in the American League. I think I'd probably put the Blue Jays ahead of them. I might still put the Astros ahead of them, but maybe a little undecided on that fact. You can never count out the Rays, but as I mentioned to you, the Rays are never good on paper, right, but the Rays are always good in practice. So you've got to kind of weigh those two things. I don't think it's out of line to say that the White Sox could be the second best team in the AL right now. I think maybe I'd conservatively put them third just to include either Houston or Tampa Bay in there. I think one thing that Rick mentioned there, and there's a little bit of words in that quote that I think really speaks to the way fans are feeling, and it's something we've brought up a whole bunch, but it's the arms race, right? When you're a contender, what do contenders do? They beef up every offseason, right? Man, you know what the Dodgers did last year? Dodgers didn't win their division. Dodgers didn't win the pennant. Dodgers didn't win the World Series. So they went out and got an MVP caliber player to go play first base for them. That's what contenders do. They beef up, you know what I mean? And I think while the White Sox made some good signings, certainly in the bullpen, I think people wanted them to beef up, wanted them to show the other teams in the American League, all right, you're going to do that. Toronto, you're going to go get Matt Chapman. Dodgers, you're going to go get Freddie Freeman. Well, here's what we're going to do. And I think that's what fans wanted to see. And to this point, the White Sox haven't done that. And so that, I think, is maybe where the frustration comes from, and I understand that. I think I would also just say at the same time that we're talking about the White Sox maybe being the second-best team in the American League. And that's not a bad place to be in. And you cannot say on paper – you cannot say because a team won January or a team won February that it's going to win October. And I think the White Sox were already in a good spot to win October before the offseason started. I think they're still in a good spot. Could they be better? Yeah, they could be. But they are in a good spot also. Those two things can be true.
Yeah, and I agree. I think from White Sox fan perspective, they saw in October how summarily dismissed they were from the Houston Astros in the playoffs. They're like, all right, you're not on this level. So we as White Sox fans were like, okay, the White Sox had to see that series. Had to. We see glaring weaknesses at our second base and right field position, and Carlos Rodon might come back. Let's see what we're going to do with these moves. Now, I was not averse to what the White Sox did with Carlos Rodon. I thought he's injury prone, and to give him a qualifying offer of 18 point whatever it was would have been a bad move. I thought it would have been a bad move. Yes, Carlos Rodon might have a good year, but you cannot go into this season having that over your head. Having, will he get injured? Will he finish the season? When we need the bell to be rung, will he answer it? And I couldn't have that. So I was agreeing with Rick there. Now, the Craig Kimbrell thing, it turns out, not the greatest thing in the world to hold $16 million in your pocket for Craig Kimbrell. But on the other side, Craig Kimbrell might do something good for your team. So I didn't like how they were kind of announcing, like, hey, we're looking for trade partners for Craig Kimbrell, and he's out here for anybody who wants him. Right. I thought they should have kept that a little bit more secret. I know that it was more of a Bob Nightingale thing, but people see Bob Nightingale as the White Sox mouthpiece, for good or for bad. I just think that White Sox fans saw that series, saw who was available, and see the White Sox doing nothing while the Twins get Correa, while Detroit gets Javi Baez. Right. Kansas City doesn't get better, neither the Guardians. You think what, Greinke's going to come to Kansas City and make them better?
You can't deny the fact that Lance Lynn improved the White Sox rotation last year just on presence alone.
Yeah,
because Dylan Cease and Michael Kopech
had.
Greinke's fine.
No, I'm saying the Royals didn't get better because Greinke went over there. But I'm saying that other teams in the division got better. The White Sox stayed the same.
I think it could have a larger. I'm not saying that they didn't. You're right that the Greinke signing is nothing to write home about. They're not winning the division. That's right.
We'll get to that later.
We're previewing the Royals on the show. I do want to bring up a couple comments. One of them is from Alexander Timothy. It says, in my opinion, they're worse on opening day than last year. You are absolutely wrong on that. The only place that they have gotten worse is the starting rotation, losing Rodon. But Kopech has been slotted in with Rodon. We don't know what Kopech could do. If he gives you 120 innings of what he was doing last year, the rotation doesn't get that much worse. And if Keuchel is healthy, they could be fine rotation-wise. Their bullpen's improved. They're starting opening day with Eloy Jimenez in left field. Their right fielder isn't Adam Eaton, and their second baseman they now have Josh Harrison and Leury Garcia. That is better than Nick Madrigal. They are better than they were opening day last year. That is completely wrong. So, but what is right?
But it's wrong. It's just different.
You think? Looking at last year's opening day,
I think Alexander might argue, and I'm sure he'll comment to this fact, whether it's true or not. That because
we're spinning this offseason, by the way.
What you said is true, but I think the frustration comes from the fact that you go out and you get a big name guy, you are trampolining to better than you were last year, right?
That's true.
I think I agree with everything you said. I think they're better than they were on opening day last year. But it's for little reasons that have to do with the existing roster, plus you throw in a couple of really good bullpen arms. Right. And there's no guy that is this big home run free agent where you go, that makes the White Sox way better.
And Alexander wanted to clear up. He said, "I mean no injuries is what I meant." Yes, they aren't injured, but it is still better. I mean, knock on wood.
Well,
and Andrew Vaughn's out 1 to 2 weeks with a hip pointer.
Yeah, and I mean, I think here's the thing to something that Herb keeps saying. You point out, you keep calling right field glaring hole, right? And it could be argued that it is. It could be argued that it is. Yeah. I think the White Sox don't think it is.
I know they don't. They love Andrew Vaughn.
And I think that they think Andrew Vaughn is going to be a fantastic offensive player and that he can play a serviceable right field. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that could very well be true.
It could be.
And because I was going back, you saw the Hahn quote we put up. I was going back through all those off-season press conferences that he gave in November and into December. And the more you read his answers to the questions about right field, every time it's we have confidence in Andrew Vaughn and Gavin Sheets. It's not, oh, well, we have these internal options, but we'll see what is out there, like he said with second base. Mm-hmm. Every answer started, boy, we like Andrew Vaughn. Boy, we like Gavin Sheets. And I think when you take that into account, you can see that they want to make sure Andrew Vaughn has an everyday role on this team as much as possible. And it could very well work out that there is no glaring hole in right field. That's what they think. We're going to find out if that's the case or not.
Now, while they don't speak to him in the glowing terms they use with Luis Robert, and I spoke about this, they love Andrew Vaughn. And like I said, they have confidence in them. And their confidence in Andrew Vaughn makes me feel a little bit more confident in Andrew Vaughn because they think that this is going to be a champion guy. They said he was going to come up and play in the majors last year. And I was like, bull crap. To major leagues? That's not going to happen. And he had a representative year. I thought his year as a rookie with all the jumps and stuff and all the injuries was pretty good. And now they believe that he can be a major league starting right fielder. I know he can play with the bat. Now let's see what he can do with the glove.
Well, he could play with the bat, and that's why I was trying to make the case of if he should be the DH this year, just because I think his bat will play. I don't know if he could be a right fielder. Sleepy Harold commented, defensive metrics showed that Vaughn was better below average in left field. What makes him believe that they'll be in a tougher position in the outfield? I do question his arm. I know he has a third baseman's arm. I don't know if it's good enough for right field.
He has a former pitcher's arm, too, at that.
Okay, well, there you go. It makes me feel a little bit better.
That's way back when for Andrew
shout
Vaughn,
out Rick and Keel.
Yeah. There you go, Rick and Keel.
I mean, I do wonder, though, because he can't dive. I mean, a lot of the times he's diving, his knee is making first contact, and that's what leads to him face planting all the time and hurting his hip and hurting his back last year. So I do worry about his ability to play defense. I do want to bring up a different comment, though, from Pine Tar Keyboard. It's up there, purple icon. When you have the worst farm system in baseball, you have to do work in the offseason. Other contenders will get better over the summer. Sox probably can't, which is what I agree with, because you talked about the Craig Kimbrell additions last year, and that made me feel better about the White Sox. Adding Craig Kimbrell, adding Ryan Tepera, adding Cesar Hernandez, I felt better about the White Sox than I did on July 30th, right? Going into August 1st, I felt better about the White Sox. I do not see their ability to make a trade in this market with what they have. They don't have anything that I think is truly appealing to a lot of teams, where if you want to fill out right field, and we've talked about this, if you were going to give up Craig Kimbrell, if that's your biggest piece, what contending team will have a right fielder that's disposable for you to help out? So, they would need to trade Kimbrell in April, in May, in June, and before this starts to develop. Yes. But that's my biggest concern, is that their best trade piece is a closer that's worth $16 million and that they'll probably have to eat a little bit of cash to get rid of. I don't think that you can improve this team without spending money, because the trade market just seems almost impossible for them to navigate. They have not made a trade this season of note outside of our guy, Adam Haseley. So that's the only thing that I'd be concerned about is, yes, the offseason isn't over, but I don't know if they don't sign Conforto, if they can actually add a big enough piece where Sox fans would think it's not subpar. I do think it's subpar in the fact that it's below average. It's below a C. I think I'd agree with Herb here, a C minus. But they did fill out some holes. They did fill out second base. They did get a better bullpen. And again, comparing the opening day roster, I do think that they're in a better spot in 2022 than they were in 2021. I just don't know if it's enough to get past the first round, which they haven't been able to do in 2020 and 2021. I'd even bet on it. I'd bet on it at PointsBet.
There
you can download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. You get 2 risk-free bets for a $50 or more first-time deposit. not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. Vinny, you just put up an article about Andrew Vaughn. Members can go and read that. If you're looking to become a member, use the code CHGO. Make a first-time deposit of $50 or more. You'll receive a free HGO membership. You can read Vinny's work. You can read all of the team's great work from our beat writers and get a free choice of your shirt from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, email the PointsBet at allchgo.com and we'll help you out. And in case you missed it, online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. You'll be signing up with the fastest sportsbook easier than ever, so you could start living your bet life in seconds. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Vinny, we mentioned the article. If people go to CHGO right now, what's the elevator pitch? What are you trying to sell people on the article today, or what are you trying to inform people about?
Well, we've been talking about it an awful lot here, but it's basically, like I said, like I've been talking about today, kind of separating Andrew Vaughn's hip injury from the desire to get Michael Conforto. So just kind of looking at right field and kind of pointing out that, the fact that this guy dove the other day might need a little coaching up. We'll see. But and injured his hip doesn't automatically mean they need to run out and sign a right fielder. But also, that kind of move wouldn't hurt.
Right. And CHGO members should run out and go read Vinny's article. And if you're not a member, go to allchgo.com, sign up to become a member today. When you do, you get a free shirt when you become a member. Those are going to start shipping soon, so you'll get a shirt fast. You'll be able to access Vinny's premium written content, and you'll be able to join our CHGO lounge. That's a members only Discord. So if you sign up to become a member, you'll get access to the premium written content, a free shirt, and access to the members only discount. The podcast, the live shows, the post-game shows, they're all free. It's just extra stuff that we're giving you on allchgo.com. So check it out, and it should be a good time. It'll be worth supporting CHGO. Let's go into our final topic now. We'll talk about the Royals. We did this yesterday with the Twins. We're doing it today with the Royals. We'll do it tomorrow with the Tigers, and we'll do it on Thursday with the Guardians, and then we'll talk more about the AL Central on Friday.
And before we get to this, I got confirmation. Our guy, Sean Evans, might join us on Friday. So tune in for that.
Look
Hot
at
Ones,
Herb.
Sean Evans, White Sox fan, guys. He's a good guy.
We got to put together some questions for him. It should be fun because he does a lot of research for Hot Ones. So hopefully you and I can craft up some comments to get to hot level question for his White Sox fandom. But let's jump into this Royals preview. We'll be doing this all throughout Friday, even on Friday, including when Sean Evans might be a guest. Hopefully, Herb's been able to book him before, so I don't think Sean Evans is going to big time us. But let's get into the Kansas City Royals. We'll start with their lineup. Let's run down 1 through 9. We did this with the Twins yesterday. Whit Merrifield, 1 in right field. Bobby Witt, 2 at third base. Sal Perez catching, batting third. 4th, Andrew Benintendi, left field, batting cleanup. Carlos Santana, first base, batting 5th. Hunter Dozier, DH, batting 6th. Alberto Mondesi playing shortstop, batting 7th. Michael A. Taylor in center field, batting 8th. And then Nicky Lopez playing 2nd and batting 9th. I think the first question is, for the quick-witted Royals, will Bobby Witt even make the team? So far, reports from the Athletics, Royals beat writers, and from just what he's been performing in spring training, seems like Bobby Witt's going to make the team. So that's the biggest thing that sticks out to me from the Royals lineup. What sticks out to you guys for this 2022 Royals team?
It's just a consistent, nice lineup. It's not the best. The White Sox, I believe, have clearly the best. We talked about the Twins yesterday, have the second best. Now, this might be in contention with the Tigers lineup. That's a solid lineup. If you could put that back up there, Steven. Like Whit Merrifield, he's 85 years old. All he does is get hits. Bobby Witt, his dad's a former pitcher of the Texas Rangers, first-round draft pick. They've been waiting for this guy for a while. And, of course, him of the record-setting season last year, Salvador Perez, even though he's not the best catcher in the AL Central, that's Yasmani Grandal. He's awesome. He's a pitcher the White Sox did not figure out last year. Oh, throw a fastball down the middle to Salvi Perez? What could happen? How about you throw a slider outside of the... Whatever. I'm still mad about that. But that's a really solid lineup. I mean, White Sox fans know Carlos Santana's going to do something versus because he's supernatural. Finny? Do you get it? No? Finny?
I got it.
All right. You didn't get it.
He's smooth.
Yeah, that's too on the
You guys are going with like 90s Santana references.
I'm
more back in 1969.
Oye,
with these. Come on.
va?
Yeah, there we go.
But that's a really solid lineup, and I hate Hunter Dozier because he doesn't look up while he's running first base and knocking out our captain, Jose Abreu.
He's a Venezuelan magic catcher.
Nice job.
Thank you.
That's tough.
What sticks out to the Royals lineup for you?
The thing that always sticks out about the Royals to me is that Lord wrote the song Royals and named the song Royals after seeing a picture of George Brett signing autographs. So
Really?
that's pretty great.
Hey, really?
Yeah.
Look at that deepness right
That's
there.
pretty great.
Speaking of somebody who's on a milk carton.
I always
George Brett?
No, Lord.
Oh, there's a
You can find George Brett anywhere you want.
well, there's a video on TikTok of Lord doing a cappella version of a song in front of a very intimate crowd, and the crowd did not like it.
No,
so,
that's a
you'll never
shame.
be Royals.
And there's
That's a
also
shame.
a YouTube video of George Brett explaining something in spring training that he went to Kokomo's. It's a great video. Check it out.
He went to Kokomo's?
He went to Kokomo's, the restaurant in Las Vegas, and then crab legs and something ensued. I can't give it all away. He does some things that bodily functions are involved. It's a great story. Check it out. George Brett.
Quite the tease.
George Brett. Great stuff.
But
Take you down to the Kokomo's.
But yeah, I don't think the Royals are that good. I mean, that lineup is fine, but like, I mean, when we're talking about who's going to win the division, like they're not. Then it's not that good. I mean, Andrew Benintendi batting cleanup.
You were upset at that.
Come on, it's just. I mean, listen, they got some great players. Obviously, Whit Merrifield is amazing. Salvi Perez is great, and Bobby Witt Jr. is supposed to be just sensational. But here's the thing: I don't think the Royals are that good. That being said, they probably will give the White Sox fits, and they probably and the White Sox could very well end up with a sub 500 record against them this year, just like they did last year. That's just kind of how Sox Royals always seems to play out, isn't it?
When you account for inflation, their payroll barely is higher than it was in 2011. So that's.
This is about the
that's
White
for
Sox?
the White Sox.
I'm
Oh, okay.
guessing?
All right. Well, never mind. That is a bad excuse. Let's go into the Royals. Sorry about that. I thought that was about the Royals because they aren't spending money on their team. Their outfield seems a little bit thin, but that infield does seem interesting to me. Bobby Witt can be a huge, just central destroyer for the Royals. But even Alberto Mondesi, he hasn't been able to stay healthy, but when he has stayed healthy, they compare him to a Ferrari. The Kansas City Royals team, they're high on him, so if they're able to figure out his health, I think that he could be dangerous. And Nicky Lopez has a fantastic glove. So
Naperville's own.
I was going to say, did you know he was from Naperville?
No, Charlie Tilson, right?
No, Charlie Tilson's from New Trier.
Someone threw out Charlie Tilson and saying that our guy Adam Halsey is now going to be
Adam Haseley.
I know. I did that one on purpose. Adam Haseley is the next Charlie
We got
Tilson.
Lord
but he's
and
not from New
Halsey in
Trier.
the show today.
Shout out to Halsey. It's a new Americana. Let's see the Royals rotation. You got Brady Singer, Zach Greinke, Carlos Hernandez, Chris Bubich, Brad Keller. I think the biggest one that sticks out, obviously, there is Zach Greinke just because of the name, but everyone else pretty young.
And it's not in the order of where they're going to go. Of course, Brad Keller probably higher in the rotation. But that Carlos Hernandez thing, I was like, the former catcher? That's weird. But no, he came up and pitched last year. I think they have big hopes for him. And Chris Bubich, which we saw last year, faced the White Sox multiple times. I think he's teammates with former White Sox great Nick Madrigal back in the day. So, yeah, Brady Singer, what I saw of Brady Singer, I liked. He's going to be probably their ace of this staff. Zach Greinke's nothing to write home about, but he'll probably post every fifth. It's all right. I'll shrug at that starting rotation. It's fine. The White Sox will hit that.
Well,
especially Brad Keller.
You mentioned that, and I remember.
I don't hate him. I just don't like him.
I remember betting against Carlos Hernandez when he was on the bump for the Sox, thinking that the White Sox were going to have this fantastic day against Carlos Hernandez. Who the hell is this? And he is, I think, in 20 innings last season, he gave up like 3 earned runs against the Sox. So in classic Royals fashion,
Royals
were 10-9 against the White Sox, the only team with an above 500 record in the AL Central against the White Sox last year. I don't know. I do want to say, like, yeah, this team, there's no way they're going to win 80 games, but also them signing Zach Greinke, it's a young rotation. It's unproven. Doesn't mean it is bad because we haven't seen a ton for them, but Carlos Hernandez can deal with the White Sox. Brady Singer, like you mentioned, guy loads up the strike zone with strikes. He can hit the strike zone. It's just about missing some bats a little bit more, missing some barrels. Bubich, who's got a great pronunciation, he's a guy that was a top prospect as well. And Zach Greinke, if he's healthy, I mean, he's one of those classic veteran, wily guys that can figure it out, and especially Kansas City. Like, I like the narrative. I'm a narrative guy.
I think it's very cool that Zach Greinke is on the Royals again, and that's where my interest in the Royals rotation ends. I mean, Greinke is a fascinating dude, you know what I mean? And to see him go back to where it all started, where he had so much success. I mean, guys, we could be talking about a future Hall of Famer in Zach Greinke. It's definitely possible.
Oh, he has to be, right?
And I might vote for him. Who knows? You got to see who was all on there. But, yeah, some great accomplishments throughout that career. A Cy Young in Kansas City. Great to see him go back. Other than that, though, that is a big-time meh list of starting pitchers. Brady Singer will be good.
Yeah.
But, I'm unimpressed with the Royals. I think this is an above-average Royals team. It is not an above-average baseball team. That's as far as I'll go there.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest with you. I don't think they'll ever be Royals.
They were in 2015
I see what you did there.
when that song came
nice
out.
Callback.
Yeah,
Great callback. But that city and that stadium, it's a must-go-to. Mm-hmm. You guys, it's like slept on. That city is very slept on. I mean, Vinny spent some time there. He understands. Kauffman Stadium is probably in my top 10 of the 17 I went to. Love it out there.
Where's it for you? Top 5?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd put it top 5. It's a nice place. Listen, I really like how people think about the Royals in Kansas City. It's a team that, especially when I was there, 2012, before they won, it's a team that really had never done anything outside, back in the 80s. And I think they got a good fan base that really cares about a team that's not really competitive very often.
Got a good owner too.
So I will compliment them for that down there. I got family in KC. I spent a year down there myself. So yes, applause all around for KC and Kauffman Stadium. As for the championship prospects of the 2022 Royals, I don't think we need to spend too much time on that.
Are they on the wrong side of Kansas City? I know you're a Mizzou guy. So are they
the wrong side? There's only one. Well, there's Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City, Kansas, not very big.
It's not
yeah,
Kansas.
So
the
everything
big city is Kansas City, Missouri. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And they don't
Which
play
makes
in
sense because it's
they
in
play
Missouri.
Independence.
What's that?
Yeah,
They
they play in
Independence.
Kansas City.
I
They're
thought they
right
played
next to
Independence.
Independence, but it's still technically KC. Yeah,
All right.
It's
Well,
far from the downtown area.
it is far. Yeah.
where do we think the Royals will finish in the AL Central? We think we had you said the Twins would finish third. I think Vinny and I were at second last year. Last episode. So where are we putting the Royals?
I think the Royals will finish 5th place in the AL Central.
Come on.
But still give the White Sox all the fits in the world. Like if they play 18 games, it's gonna be a 10-9. I don't know who's gonna get ahead of it. They're just gonna be the Royals. We're gonna be hating games down there. Whit Merrifield's gonna hit doubles, and they're gonna somehow get a game. I remember that 7-0 game.
Sal Perez will crush a couple fastballs.
Yeah, and then somebody walked it off in the 8th inning. Like it's always somebody with the goddamn Royals. I think I hate them most. You're getting there more. Probably the Twins because their stadium is not my favorite, and I don't like the Twins. Exactly.
I don't think about the Royals enough to hate them.
Oh,
I think I hate the Twins more. I hate Cleveland
Brad
more.
Keller, Tim
I hate
Anderson
Twins.
thing.
Tim Anderson won. What did Brad Keller do? He threw a bad pitch and got absolutely
Phil
rocked.
Meyer thing.
And then got told to shut up by Tim Anderson. Tim Anderson won that one.
Probably because I'm in those streets, battling for Yasmani Grandal being the best catcher over Salvador Perez.
You're out in the streets
Yeah.
doing a little West Side Story? Yeah.
Salvi sucks.
When you're a Yaz all the way.
Who cares about throwing out runners? It's 2022.
I think they'll finish fourth. I think they'll finish
good song.
above Cleveland, below
one.
the Tigers, below the Twins, below the Sox. I think they'll finish fourth.
5th. I'm with her. I think last place for KC.
Also, Greinke is absolutely a Hall of Famer. It's CC Sabathia. What's his
Karsten Charles.
Karsten Charles, left-hander, over 3,000 strikeouts. Right, CC is probably a Hall of Famer.
He is
62.5 WAR. He's got a Cy Young. Greinke 68 WAR. He's got a Cy Young. He's got 5 finishes in the top 5 for Cy Young. I think Greinke's a Hall of Famer there. One other quote I wanted to bring up before we wrap this up, and this is on the Rick Hahn thing. You talked about the process. I meant to bring this up, so I'm sorry I didn't. But this is from 2019 on the process, and he said, what's most important is whether this entire rebuild process leads to multiple championship and ends in a parade. So this is the multiple championship quote that you brought up. That's how we're ultimately going to be judged. Securing a premium free agent at this time could be conceivably accelerate the process, could give us a little bit more margin of error, let's say, the talent that we've already brought in. So,
obviously, he's talking about a vastly different point in their rebuild than now.
But still, about, jump-starting it. That's what a free agent signing would do. It would jump-start this team. It would be beefing up this team. But I don't think they view it as a necessity still.
I would say that you're talking about a time when Luis Robert was not Luis Robert. Eloy Jimenez was not Eloy Jimenez.
True.
Jose Abreu hadn't won an MVP. They didn't have Yasmani Grandal. TA was not the TA that he is today. So I think jump-starting a process with a free agent in February of 2019 is a much different result than doing so when you've got the team you've got right now.
But the team they got right now is still like obviously the progression is different. But Eloy, that was still Eloy's first year. That was still Moncada's first year at third base. That was Anderson. Like that was the first shaping of that team. Was that 2019 team? Like that was probably the start of the window era.
We're talking about the Machado offseason.
Yeah. And that was a question about the process, but I don't know if the process has changed. You brought up being a process guy, so that's why I just wanted to bring it up. I don't know if the process has changed.
I understand what Rick is doing. It doesn't mean I like it. He believes in the guys that he has, and if he believes in them, and that's his job to believe in the people that he picked, I'm gonna give him a little leeway because he's a baseball man. He understands how to pick prospects. We see the team right now. That's his team. He picked those people. So I'll give him a little bit and see what Andrew Vaughn can do in right field. As long as Andrew Vaughn's not going to hurt himself in right field, I think he'll be fine. I think the team will be successful overall. It's just, you expect more. You want more. As
you should.
As anything.
Right. As you should.
Yeah. And
that's
like
what
I said,
being a fan's about, right?
At the end of the year, we'll be happy that we're celebrating the AL CHGO championship, right?
Right, yeah. And
exactly.
I guess that's, too, why, fans got upset with the Tony remark is, what do you expect fans to want? They want their team to be, just the Death Star of a baseball team. Yeah. So I guess that's where
there's only one of those, and that's the Dodgers.
Yes. Yes.
Wait, didn't the Death Star get destroyed?
Twice.
Come on now.
What?
I didn't even see that movie. I know. I don't want them to be the Death Star.
But the
it
point is,
in two different movies, Herb.
Yes.
I haven't seen any of them.
And they rebuilt it.
Didn't they make a hole that's really small, but also as a thing you could self-destruct the thing with?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
It's kind of like having three right fielders.
God, this is dumb.
It's kind of like having no DH.
Darth Vader wasn't great at building.
No.
He's the one who built that Death Star, right?
Yeah, by hand.
These Star Wars people are like, this fucking Herb.
Big architect,
fucking
Anakin
Herb.
Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker, in between becoming Darth Vader and recovering from his burnt body, became an architecture. Death Star was his dream job. That was his, his Sistine Chapel. He did fail. We don't think Rick Hahn failed. We do think that it was at least subpar. Vinny says it's not over yet, so we still have time.
I mean, it technically isn't over yet. I don't know if anything's going to happen.
April 8th is opening day. We're still not even in the opening month. So
I'm gonna be
we still got time.
yell at you if it happens. If Rick goes and makes a trade, see, Sean, you have little faith.
I have little faith that they can make a
Ridiculous.
trade. I have little faith that they can make a trade. I have a lot of confidence that they could still go ahead and Michael Conforto because he's still out there as an option. But we'll talk about that all and more. We'll save it. We got another podcast coming out tomorrow and on Thursday and on Friday. We'll wrap it up for today. For Vinnie Duber, you can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. That's Herb Lawrence, who is Rick Hahn's guy.
23 right there.
You can follow him at Ecknerwall23 on Twitter. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Thank you to Steven and Kevin for producing. We will talk to you tomorrow on the CHGO White Sox podcast.